Carson Wentz is no longer a Philadelphia Eagle. He is an Indianapolis Colt. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Like this was the thing we all kind of thought would happen, right? Um, we all kind of figured that this was going to happen when the fact that, if anybody's going to take on the chance of fixing Carson Wentz, it was going to be the offensive coordinator that had Carson Wentz playing at an MVP level. So I thought a lot of this made sense, and I got a lot of it. Indianapolis isn't taking a huge chance because, as far as I know, Philly's still eating a ton of money on this, basically, right?
Yeah. Also, a little bit unrelated. I'm gonna have to put someone in timeout into chat for posting a fake news thing that did not actually happen. Please don't do that, guys. Makes me. I had to Google see if JJ Watt retired. Just 5-minute timeout. But right. So Phil, this is actually a pretty reasonable contract from the Colts end, where if they don't like him after this year, they can get rid of it for no dead money. So I think this is a great move for the Colts. You can try and fix him. It's way better than you would get for those picks for any other quarterback. And if it doesn't work out, well, then next year you're in the same position pretty much.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Is this a lost cause? That's my question. So I think that there's a couple avenues to look at this. Now, it was 2 years ago that basically he was, the stat was 4,000 yards without a single 500-yard wide receiver. And everyone's like, oh, Carson Wentz is so impressive. I said Dak Prescott was better. No big deal. I was right. So, the thing is, so we see all this stuff about 2 years ago, this guy was looking like an elite quarterback. Now, the question is, and it seems like from all the stuff we're hearing about behind the scenes after the fact, is that there is quite obviously some level of distrust between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. They clearly didn't trust each other. So is this a situation where maybe he goes back to an offensive coordinator / coach that he now trusts and it's going to be fine? Or is this a lost cause of a guy who doesn't know how to take a sack and doesn't know how to throw a football away, and he's just going to keep making these mistakes?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to imagine he's just all of a sudden going to become a perfect quarterback. But what I like about it is I think people don't fully realize how just awful of a situation Philadelphia was last year. They were, according to Pro Football Focus, they were ranked worst in terms of their receiving core, and they had a mediocre offensive line. Injuries played a part of that, of course, but still, you have Carson Wentz now who is in this really difficult situation. And now he's out. I mean, the true winner of this trade is Carson Wentz because he's now in a much better situation with an offensive coach that'll, Frank Reich, who I'm a big fan of, who will make things easier. And this feels like a very Moneyball style move from the Colts of, this is almost like right out of the Tampa Bay Rays playbook of let's go out and let's take someone who has potential but can't get it all together, see if we can fix him. And with a good offensive line, he won't be running into as many sacks as he did last year. They have guys who can get open. They have cap space to help that out also. The receiving core could use a little bit of a boost, but also Frank Reich can get guys open. So I think this is the real winner is definitely Wentz.
Yeah. So if you get 2019, where are we now? Yeah, 2019 Carson Wentz on this team, do you think this team can compete with Kansas City?
Yeah, I think this is a dark horse Super Bowl team for me. I feel like this is a team that could go all the way. Again, there's so much offseason left. We'll have to see what they do. They have cap space, but historically they don't like to use their cap space. So who knows if they use it this year? So I hope that they do. I think that this is definitely a team. If everything breaks right, it could work out. And that's kind of I love these moves where instead of taking a safe option that could work out, could not, they're taking an option that it's either going to put you in Super Bowl contention, or you have to fix that next year.
Yeah. I mean, I am with you. I think this is a team that still needs to make a couple moves. The one thing I do like is that the Colts do have some pretty good tight ends, which is something that he's used at Philadelphia a lot. So that's going to help. Now, I believe T.Y. is a free agent. So they'll have to either sign him, and I still think bring in another wide receiver, or is this an Odell Beckham team with some of that cap space you were just talking about that could, if they really wanted to go for it, doesn't Odell Beckham kind of fit here?
I think I would rather just get like an Allen Robinson and just, who I think is they're comparable players. I think Allen Robinson's one of the more underrated receivers in the league. So if you just sign, you'd have to pay him more money, but what do you have more of, draft capital or cap space? They have almost the most cap space in the league. So use that to your benefit.
Yeah. No, I think either scenario works. I think this is an interesting team. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Wentz, but he's got an infinitely better offensive line here, which I think should go a long way. And I still don't think they're going to change a whole lot of what the Colts did. I think they're going to still rely on Hines and Taylor in the backfield and this running game. I don't think he's going to be asked to do a whole lot. He's just got to be, we were praising Phillip Rivers by the end of the season, but if he's better than Rivers and like he was, like we were saying at 2019 level, yeah, this is a really dangerous team.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think this is an interesting, very interesting situation. I had a question and I lost. I had one more point and I lost it. Off to a slow start here for me. Already 7 minutes in, forgetting my point.
You're getting distracted by fake JJ Watt retirement rumors and
yes, not
so,
going well. Well, but yeah, no. Oh, here's what I'm gonna say. For Philadelphia, though, you're ripping the Band-Aid off, but this is just a complete mess for Philadelphia. But at least, I guess, getting partially out of a contract, and it's a rebuilding year, get a little bit of draft capital.
Yeah, I mean we're going to talk about this shortly because they're on one of our lists that we're going to come up with here, guaranteed. But this team has a lot of work to do to not only get under the cap, but then try and create a competitive football team out of this. I don't know if there is a competitive football team here for next season.